Hey everybody, my name is Jennifer. I am nutrition coach here at Bandit CrossFit, and today we're going to talk about processed foods. We have a nutrition challenge coming up where we're kind of piggybacking off of the Make America Great Again movement, where we've really just kind of been overloaded with information in the past couple of months about processed food and the ingredients in it and how that is affecting our health, our metabolic health, our overall health. So anyhow, this isn't going to dive into that a whole lot, but I do want to kind of focus on some foods that most of us probably deem or have always thought of as healthy. But we kind of want to dive in and see if they really are actually as healthy as we thought that they're going to be. And of course, I'm going to let you know 3 foods that we should be eating and review our principles for eating healthy that we focus on in our nutrition program. Um, Speaking of that nutrition program, we are partnered with Healthy Steps Nutrition to support our clients here in Biloxi using a framework that is guided, tested, and proven. Our mission statement is that we believe something as fundamental as nutrition shouldn't be complicated, which is why we focus on a simple, habit-based approach. We know that helping people make health a way of life isn't just about what we eat. So we use a holistic approach where we look at all of these things here in this wheel. We address sleep, stress management, your support system, the people around you, exercise, nutrition, and just your general lifestyle. Have you ever noticed that noticed that your nutrition choices are altered when you're stressed out or tired? For sure. We tend to eat bad when we're stressed out, or we tend to eat worse when we're tired, or we just don't eat when we're tired, which is also not a good thing. So that's kind of why we address a holistic approach where we focus on all of these things. So let's dive into today's topic. And let's start with the deception that the marketing is putting out there. So, um, many of you probably in the water department at the gas station, the grocery store, wherever you're picking up a bottle of water, have probably seen alkaline water or like pH balanced water, right? Um, so most of us probably don't even know what that means. If something is alkaline, that means it has a pH greater than 7. So normal tap water has a pH of around 7, so it's neutral. Whereas alkaline water has ever so slightly higher pH, meaning that it's more basic. So the health claim behind this water is that it will neutralize the acid in your bloodstream. By doing this, it also claims to prevent diseases like cancer and heart disease. Luckily, we know better than this. Alkaline will change the pH of your urine and saliva, but not your actual body's blood pH. Our bodies are very sensitive and need to stay within a very small range for many parameters, including our pH, and our bodies are very good at staying within those ranges without the help of false advertisement pH water that we feel like we need to buy because it says it'll help us. So, will the water hurt you? Absolutely, probably not. But it might hurt your wallet because you're paying more for something that you really don't need. I just thought that was kind of a interesting, and that's just one of many different marketing schemes by these companies that spend a ton of time researching what it is that we will fall for. Right. So here we go. 10 foods that aren't really worth the extra money that you might have to pay for them. The bottom line is that marketing companies for food products really don't care about our health. They really only care about persuading us to buy their products. Companies invest in tons of research development and marketing long before their actual product hits the shelves. And I don't think it takes very long for us to figure out why. It's because we, as the consumers, are really willing to pay more for a product that has generated more demand. So the more a company is able to get the public interested in their product, the more they can charge for it. So companies claim that their product has a particular beneficial nutritional property, like changing your pH, or lowering your cholesterol, or it's heart healthy, or it's part of a heart healthy diet. So these claims may not even be entirely false, but it more than likely is stretching the truth when you really start to kind of break down what else is in the food. So food labels do have regulations set forth by the government, but their number one focus is still profit, and they have a lot of ways around the labeling of their ingredients in their food. So let's dive into 10 foods that aren't worth the squeeze. Be sure to follow along if you are watching live so you can take notes in your notebook, your workbook. So let's talk first about granola and granola bars. Definitely a popular health food where a lot of us are putting granola on our yogurt and grabbing a granola bar in the afternoon for a quick pick-me-up when we get hungry in between lunch and dinner, or we feel like it keeps us from eating something, that might be worse. We might look at a granola bar as a better than choice. So they are great on-the-go snacks to keep our energy up throughout the day. And many companies realize that these appeal to busy consumers like gym goers and moms, and even kids. There's a big, a lot are advertised for our kids to put in their lunch boxes or what have you. To make them even more appealing, you may see them with health claims, including like heart healthy, or it helps to lower your cholesterol, or maybe it's a high protein snack. You see that on a lot of things these days. And we teach our clients that we need to have protein every time we eat. But we oftentimes aren't looking at everything else that is in the food. So because of this marketing, they have become a staple in our carts, but they really may not be the best choice. Granola bars are seen as a great source of energy, but what if I told you that that energy that you got from that granola bar goes away just as easy as it came on? In other words, you're going to crash quickly afterwards. So if you look at the nutrition label on a typical granola bars are often high in one macronutrient, and that typically is carbohydrates. It's usually also paired with a very high amount of sugar to make it taste good. So we'll buy it again. And that those carbohydrates and that sugar will give you energy to get through about the next hour or two, but it will not keep you full or fueled. Sometimes you may even feel hungry 15 minutes later. That's because the carb and sugar heavy snack will cause a quick spike in your blood sugar, which is when you feel energized. And then it's quickly followed by a very quick crash. And that's why you feel tired or hungry again shortly thereafter. Even bars that are higher in protein, like Cliff bars, are still packed with an average of 20 grams of added sugar. And just so you know, because I like to plug this recommendation all the time, as women, we are not supposed to have more than 25 grams of sugar per day. So just one Cliff bar has almost the maximum amount of sugar that we need for a day. So it's 25 grams for women per day and 38 grams for men. So that's why. So I took some time and I went through and looked at some better choices if you need an on-the-go snack. And note that, but these do not have a significant source of protein in it. So you're going to need to pair it with, a boiled egg or a protein shake or something like that. The That's It bars that you can get at Walmart, Target, they are literally just fruit. It's like an apple and a pear, or a blueberry and a strawberry or something like that. And they kind of taste like what a fruit roll up used to taste like a long time ago before it turned into just chemicals. You can also order Atlas bars online. Those are real food. And I believe, I didn't make notes, but I think they have a little bit of protein in them. The Atlas bars do have natural flavors, so I'm going to sidetrack and read you something from the book Feeding You Lies by the food babe, Vani Hari. I don't know if y'all follow her or not, but her book, Feeding You Lies, is an excellent resource if you're trying to clean up your diet as far as like ingredients go, because it's almost like a little Bible. Like you can flip to the back, or like a dictionary, I guess. You can flip to the back and look up different ingredients and then go to where she talks about it so that you can just make a good choice. I mean, sometimes we're going to eat some things that aren't great for us, but it's better to know and to know how much of it you're getting. So here's the excerpt about natural flavor, because if you don't look at ingredients and you start looking at ingredients after this talk today, you're going to notice natural flavor in a lot of your foods. So natural flavor is practically the exact same thing as artificial flavor, but it's derived from substances found in nature, like plants or animals. That sounds reasonable, right? And sounds better. So the flavor is derived from natural things, but it's important to remember that this isn't all it contains. Remember, flavors typically contain preservatives, emulsifiers, solvents, and other incidental additives that can make up 80% or so of the formulation. So even the natural ones. Flavor chemists create these complex formulations in a lab, isolating and blending specific flavors extracted from upward of hundreds of compounds. So that natural flavor has hundreds of things in it, possibly. Some of them likely are GMOs as well. These compounds can come from substances that are nowhere close to the actual thing. For example, they might take some castoreum from a beaver. If you don't know what castoreum is, that castoreum, it is a natural substance that comes from the scent glands of beavers. And I will tell you that castoreum is often used to make things that have raspberry flavoring or vanilla flavoring. I read strawberry flavoring too. So anyways, that's a little side note on natural flavors if you want to start paying attention to that so you're not eating beaver scent glands. It's interesting. There's also a new bar that I found called Thunderbird Bar, kind of similar to an RX bar. A Lara bar is real food. You can find that at Walmart or Target. Simple Mills, MILLS. A couple of those might have some things in it that you don't want, but for the most part, those are I really only for this section looked at their granola bars. Um, RX bars are real food, but they also have natural flavors in them. Go Macro bars, they have those at Target, also has natural flavors. And then in the refrigerator section, there's a little bar called Midday Squares. Has a lot of ingredients, but if I remember right, I think they're all organic. And then Perfect bars as well. Those are also in the refrigerator section. Um, so let's move on and talk about cold cereals. Okay. Cold cereal is a super popular breakfast food, especially when our kids are little. It's consumed by 31% of Americans that actually say they eat breakfast regularly. So that's a pretty high percentage of our population. A lot of cereal brands market directly to kids, including cereal box toys, using fun mascots. If you haven't been down the cereal aisle lately and looked at the kids, like literally every cartoon that they're watching, there's a cereal for, and it is colored. So it has artificial dyes in it too. And they're placed down on eye level, where kids can see them and reach for them and ask for them. So no wonder you can't leave the store without your kids asking for at least one box of cereal. Cereals make claims like they're heart healthy, they're a good source of fiber or a good source of protein. It contains whole grains, like that makes it magically good for you. But they're actually can be packed with sugar, a lot of sodium, simple carbohydrates, and even less protein and fiber than they are seeming to even imply. So if you're a cereal eater, some better choices is the Ezekiel brand cereal. Amazon carries that, Rouse's carries that. I recently found a brand called Seven Sundays cereal, and Target has that. It's like a little chocolate flour. Not terrible. And then the PB Fit brand, their granola. I can only find it on Amazon and it is pricey, but it is super clean and has some protein in it. So if you're like a granola person for your to top your yogurt with, that's a great choice. Nutrail, Nutrail granola is at Walmart. It does have natural flavors in it. But it's a good clean choice other than that. So the thing about granola is that it's typically very low in protein. But if you pair it with a clean Greek yogurt, then you've got a balanced, quick breakfast that should keep you full. This is a nutrition facts label for, I'm pretty sure it's Lucky Charms. But in just one cup, and I don't know how many of y'all are just pouring one cup of cereal, but a typical bowl is going to probably hold more like a cup and a half or two. But there's 1.4, only 1.4 grams of fiber, and there's 12 grams of sugar. So that again is half if you're only eating a cup, or if you're eating 2 cups, it puts you at your sugar limit for the day. We already talked about what the sugar limit is. Um, and look at that, only 2.1 grams of protein and 25 grams of carbs. And then, it's got colors in it, so that's not good. Modified cornstarch, it's got corn syrup, it's got dextrose in it. A lot of things in there that we do not want to be eating. All right, so another food that I feel like, we all think is healthy is oatmeal. So flavored oatmeal is another one of those easy breakfast go-tos, especially when you're talking about these little packets that you just rip open and add hot water to. Much like breakfast cereals, you're going to see similar claims with a lot more emphasis on the fact that oatmeal is heart healthy or has heart healthy properties. Where does this come from, that claim? Oatmeal is a food naturally higher in fiber, and a diet high in fiber is shown to better manage your blood sugar levels, cholesterol, and to help decrease blood pressure, which helps our hearts stay strong and healthy. But these instant flavored oatmeals typically don't have the same properties. The instant oatmeal is way more processed, and during that processing system, it loses most, if not all, of its fiber content. So remember, companies make products like these to make a profit off of us by making us think it's healthy and while also appealing to our taste preferences. So oatmeal can be a terrific source of heart healthy whole grains. It's just important to check the nutrition label before you purchase these products. Flavored instant oatmeal in particular is highly processed with less fiber and more added sugar. Both of these will lead to that spike in blood sugar that we don't want, and then it's going to be followed by that crash that we really don't want. So remember to read the nutrition label on them and choose less processed oatmeals, such as just plain steel cut oats or old fashioned oats with minimal amounts of added sugar. You can add fruit or a natural source of sugar for flavor like honey to get flavor and to get some other micronutrients in. So if you're looking for some better choices, just buy real oats, like I was talking about. And I will also put this note in here since we have this challenge coming up about ingredients. Oats are one of the foods that are grown with tons and tons of pesticides. So if you're buying plain oats, it is worth your buck, if you're trying to avoid things, to go ahead and buy organic, because it's going to have less like glyphosate and stuff sprayed on it. So pre-packaged oats, probably the best choice that I could find out there is Purely Elizabeth. The oats are organic and the other ingredients are real, like you'll know what they are. Prepping and making your own overnight oats is another great option. Buy the organic oats to avoid the chemicals. We have 2 recipes for overnight oats on our website. If you go to banditcrossfit.com and go to nutrition, and then you can choose recipes, and they're separated by the meal. So you'd go to breakfast, and we have one's just called overnight oats. It has blueberries and bananas. Or scroll a little bit further, and double chocolate overnight oats are super good. My middle daughter is on a kick of the double chocolate overnight oats lately, which has yogurt in it. So next topic up is flavored yogurt. Yogurt is packed with calcium, and we like that. Usually has a good bit of protein in it, especially if we're buying Greek yogurt. And there's probiotics to keep our bones strong and our gut healthy. Unfortunately, the flavored yogurts tend to have a lot of added sugar to increase the palatability of the flavor. Some brands even have over 20 grams of added sugar per serving. So if you're eating, a Cliff Bar in the afternoon and you ate flavored yogurt for breakfast, you've doubled your sugar intake for the day, or what you should be under. So if we can, I'm going to skip that because I've only told you at least 3 times during this what the sugar limits are. Flavored yogurts, especially the ones that are marketed to kids, a lot of times will have artificial dyes and preservatives and other added ingredients that just aren't good for us. So when choosing yogurts, find a Greek yogurt because it's higher in protein. And then look for your yogurt to have less than 5 grams of added sugar. Nope, I didn't change the name of this slide, but some yogurts that would be a good choice are the Chobani Zero Sugar. Good and clean, does have natural flavors if you're trying to watch that. The Oikos Triple Zero, plenty of protein, does have natural flavors. It does have sweeteners in it. Not sugar, but artificial sweeteners. And then my favorite thing to do is buy unflavored Greek yogurt. I've been buying the Fage brand. Sometimes I buy the 2%, sometimes I buy the zero. Very minimal ingredients. It's like, milk and whatever and the probiotics. You always want to make sure that your yogurt has the probiotics in it. Um, and then, we use it for overnight oats or we put some of that Nutriol granola on it. Um, I had to break Ellie's heart because I had started buying her that Purely Elizabeth brand because their stuff is typically really clean. But they have some granolas out now that's like one's a peanut butter one, one's a chocolate chip cookie one, and they're so good. She was using it on her yogurts, but with this challenge coming up, I was checking the ingredients, and off the top of my head, I can't remember what it was in it. It's either seed oil or it has sugar in it. So she's just finishing out what she has, and she has a broken heart. So let's talk about smoothies. Also another food that we typically, think we're making a better choice if we're going to have a smoothie. So they can be super refreshing, and a versatile way to increase your fruit, veggie intake or adding protein to them, can kind of make a good balanced meal, but, they can also, uh, be loaded with sugar. Um, so they do have a lot of good things but they also, are not always the best choice. You need to read your labels or make them yourself. Um, it's a common misconception, like with our biggest smoothie place around here is Smoothie King for sure. And years ago when I was on my weight loss journey, I fell into that trap and thought, oh, well, it's good, and my go-to was that angel food because it was one of the lower calorie smoothies or whatever, and it tastes great. So, but probably for 2 months, that was my lunch every day. And I did lose weight, but I also absolutely destroyed my gut with that because it was so high in sugar and I wasn't getting any protein. But smoothies can pack in over 1,000 calories depending on the size and the ingredients. So I went to Smoothie King's website and, well, actually, I Googled what are the top three selling smoothies at Smoothie King, and who knows how old the information was. But anyways, it told me the Lean One Vanilla was the most popular. It only has, well, I wrote down 25 calories. I bet it's 250 calories. Actually, maybe not. Maybe it is 25 calories. Or maybe this is just the protein in it. Um, Anyhow, it has natural flavors in it, but only has 3 grams of protein, 2 grams of carbs, and 1 gram of fat. So it's really not doing anything other than just falsely filling you up. Peanut Power Plus, I know that's a popular one because I've ordered it for kids before, has 530 calories, 25 grams of fat, 65 grams of carbs, and only 19 grams of protein. So, I mean, 19 grams of protein is decent, but 65 grams of carbs in one meal is a lot. Um, the original high protein banana has 330 calories, 12 grams of fat, 33 grams of carbs, and 27 grams of protein. I would say that that one is probably decent just based off of the macros. Can't be too overly high in sugar since it's relatively low in carbs. And then the Muscle Punch, this one has a whopping 38 grams of added sugar. It's got 72 carbs in it, obviously, if it's got that much sugar in it. And interestingly, it's called Muscle Punch, but there's only 8 grams of protein in it. So definitely some deceptive marketing there with the title of that one. Another one that I couldn't really give y'all a whole lot of research on, but especially the teenage world is obsessed with the acai bowls because they've came out, advertising superfoods and that they're super healthy. Um, the sellers of the acai bowls claim that they benefit our brain, our heart, and our overall health because they have a high antioxidant content. But there's really no evidence backing this up. I couldn't even I can't remember the name of that place that's over there by Target in D'Iberville. I couldn't even find the nutrition facts on their smoothie or their acai bowls. Um, they probably are a good source of fiber just because we know there's fruit in there. Probably some calcium and potassium, vitamin A, maybe. But that doesn't necessarily make it a quick fix to your health problems or your weight loss goals, because they do typically have about 400 calories or more, a whole lot of added sugar, because they're adding things like Nutella, and chocolate and stuff like that that's got extra sugar in it. And who knows what is in their like protein blend. But anyhow, that amount of sugar is going to spike your blood sugar and lead to another one of those crashes. Um, and probably the biggest downfall to these acai bowls is they are expensive. Definitely not a budget friendly snack. Sports drinks, every sport that your kids play, the parents are bringing a cooler of Gatorade for them. So there's a never ending list of sports drink brands. I feel like they're always coming out with a new one. And their claim is that they are high in electrolytes, but they are also typically packed with sugar. And even some of them high fructose corn syrup. Which is the same carbohydrate source that's in soft drinks. And we all know that soft drinks aren't good for us, but yet we think, Gatorade will be fine because we need the electrolytes. Um, so a 20-ounce serving of Gatorade contains 36 grams of sugar. So well over what we need as women, and that would be your max for men. And this is really only a fraction less than what an average, soda or Coke would have, and definitely more than the recommended amount. So the carbohydrates and sugar can be good for long workouts because we need fuel. But the best way to rehydrate, honestly, is drinking water with a little sprinkle of some good salt in it. So skip the sports drinks and look at regular water, or adding a sugar-free electrolyte supplement to your water. So some better options for that. Instant hydration. I have ordered that, but haven't gotten it in yet. So I'll have to let y'all know on the next month how that's going. There's a brand called Stur, STUR. Elementy or Element, however you say that. Those are decent. There is some controversy around them hiding some ingredients in their hydration, but I don't know. Maybe the jury is still out on that. I have been using Just Ingredients is the brand. I've actually been using their protein and their hydration, or all organic ingredients and very minimal ingredients, and the taste is really good. They have like a paradise flavor or something like that. Kind of tastes like, coconutty, pina colada, whatever, pineapple-y. Jocko also has a hydration. I was buying that before I started the Just Ingredients, and I like those. It does have sugar alcohols in it if that's something that you're watching. You can also make your own Gatorade. So I'm going to give you a recipe for that if you would like to write it down. But you just need 3 cups of kind of warmish water and then as much salt as you would like. Maybe something like around 1/8 of a teaspoon would be somewhere to start. If you wanted a little bit sweet, you could put a little honey in it. Not more than like 2 tablespoons for sure. And then a half a cup of juice of your choice. So you could fresh squeeze some orange or some lime or some lemon, whatever you would want. Even apples, you could make like apple flavored Gatorade. I know that'd be weird. But I think that's a super great. And if you have kids, they love to make things in the kitchen. So that would be fun. Okay, protein bars. This one may shock you. Protein bars seem to have become the holy grail of on-the-go afternoon snacks, but they can be misleading and really downright tricky. They are marketed as a healthy, high-protein snack to help you build muscle or even lose weight. But again, you've got to check the nutrition labels. These bars can be high in calories and even have sneaky added sugar, so much so, or much that so much so that there is only a slight difference between that protein bar and a candy bar. So next time you're picking up your protein bar, you should flip over a Snickers bar and compare the calories and the sugar. So it could be, they might taste great and you think you're doing good, but they really might be doing you more harm than they are good. Some protein bars can be a good source of protein, maybe even fiber and some healthy fats. But a lot of them are very high in sugar and they lack other essential nutrients that you could get if you just ate real food. So we need to remember the place for a protein bar. It can be really easy, especially if you're a macro tracker to, this is going to be my breakfast, this is going to be my lunch. Because it's easy finding some protein bar that fits your macros and sticking it there for your snack every single day. Where we end up, eating more than we need to. Protein bars should be kind of like, an emergency food. When we can't get anything else, we can grab a protein bar. But we should always try to choose whole food options over packaged foods when we can. So there's a wide variety of protein bar brands out there, and that more are being added all the time. We just need to take the time to look at the nutrition facts and educate ourselves on ingredients that we should be avoiding. Some better choices for protein bars are RX bars. I know a lot of people don't like the texture, but we're big girls. We can do hard things. Epic bars, kind of almost like a jerky-ish. I haven't tried these yet, but I was reading about IQ bars. Target has them in the store. And I did almost pick them up yesterday and then I changed my mind. But they do have natural flavors in them, but the ingredients and the nutrition facts looked pretty decent. So another food that we look at and it's like, oh, I can eat that because it's healthy, it's gluten-free. Most of us probably think that just because a gluten-free snack or because a snack is gluten-free, it is probably healthier than another choice. A lot of us fall into this trap, but it's important to remember that conventional products are rich in fiber, vitamins, and minerals that most gluten-free products are going to be lacking. So gluten-free snacks are processed also, and most of them contain sugar, fats, and additives that are not beneficial to our health goals. So just because a product is gluten-free, it doesn't make it any healthier than the alternative that the gluten-free product is trying to replace. A lot of times, if you're buying gluten-free, it can also be more expensive because marketers know consumers are willing to pay extra for a product if the consumer thinks that it's healthier. Really, the only reason anybody should be buying a gluten-free item is if you have celiac disease or a gluten sensitivity. Also, a lot of advertising out there shows, it's keto on the box or whatever. Keto-friendly packaged products are often highly processed. As we know, processed foods can have many unwanted added ingredients, and those ingredients can tend to have a negative impact on our health. So we should also remember that our body's main source of energy is carbohydrates. When we can incorporate a balance of all three macronutrients, that being protein, carbs, and fat, we will feel more energized and satisfied, and that helps us to better achieve our goals, especially when we're trying to lose weight or make gains in the gym. So keto products and the keto diet aims to minimize carbohydrates in the diet, which may not be the best balance for you achieving your goals long term. Keto products are a marketing scheme to make money off of a popular diet and are often high in protein and fat, which often come with higher calories. So that may make it harder for you to stay within your needed energy balance if you're trying to lose weight. So if you are attempting the keto diet or any diet, it is preferred to choose whole foods over processed ones anyhow. So if you were trying to follow keto on real foods, you would focus on meat and maybe some dairy. And nuts, I guess. Okay, that was a whole lot of information, and it may seem tricky with marketing tactics out there. So let's focus more on the three foods that we should be including in our diet. And the first one is whole grains and fiber. And really the focus there is fiber. It doesn't necessarily have to come from a grain because especially if you're going to do this challenge that's coming up on Monday, we are taking grains out of our diet because they're highly processed and over sprayed with glyphosate. And so that can be, even though grains contain a lot of things that we need, it also contains a lot of things that are contributing to our inflammation and our poor metabolic health. So, let me circle back to fiber. Fiber helps regulate the body's use of sugars and keeps us feeling full and more satisfied for a longer period of time. Soluble fiber is a great way to lower your blood glucose levels and your cholesterol. And good sources of these are oatmeal, make sure it's organic, beans, like dried beans, nuts, apples, and blueberries. Insoluble fiber helps food move through your digestive system. And so good sources of I can't say that word, insoluble fiber include whole wheat products, which I would just steer away from those, honestly. But leafy greens is a great place to get your insoluble fiber. Children and adults need between 25 to 35 grams of fiber per day. However, average Americans only get around 15 grams a day. And that's one thing we'll be doing in the first week of the challenge is figuring out just how much fiber we are getting on a daily basis with our regular diets. And then as we move on in the challenge, if you so choose, you can focus on fiber as one of your action steps. The second food that we want to include is lean protein. The United States Department of Agriculture defines lean protein as containing less than 10 grams of total fat and fewer than 4.5 grams or less of saturated fat per portion size. So lean protein increases satiety, like makes us feel full. It also helps us to build and maintain the muscle that we have. Promotes weight loss because as we build muscle, we lose fat, and it keeps your body functioning properly. We want to aim to have about 30%, 30 to 40% of our total calories coming from protein each day. And then the third thing to include in your diet is vegetables, fresh, frozen, canned. And I say that that's the order of best, better, and good. It's good to eat canned produce. It's better to eat frozen. It's best to eat fresh. But really just eat a vegetable. So fresh fruits and vegetables can make great on-the-go snacks. When you're shopping for fresh produce, it'll help you to save money if you look for seasonal choices. Produce that's in season will have better flavor too, and should be a better buy. Contrary to common belief, frozen fruits and vegetables are also a great option. They tend to be picked when they're ripe and then frozen immediately, and they lock in all that nutritional value. Can also be a better money choice, like budget friendly, because they stay fresh longer because they can last for months in the freezer. Canned fruits and vegetables are convenient and budget friendly as well. They're a great item to buy in bulk and keep stocked up on for those times that you can't find, that particular vegetable or fruit in the store. They don't expire quickly, so you won't have to worry about eating it within a certain time period. However, two things to watch for when you're shopping for frozen and canned fruits or vegetables is checking the ingredients label, because they sometimes will have added sugar and sodium. So you just want to be mindful of that. All right, we're just about at the end. This is probably the longest nutrition talk I've ever given. But I always like to go over just a few general nutrition things. So HSN principle number 1 is to add more whole foods into your diet. Reading nutrition labels is super important, and it's a great place to start to becoming more aware of what you're putting in your body. But eating whole foods, you don't have to worry about nutrition labels. You know what you're eating. Second, I like to teach people to set up their plates following the plate method. Dividing your plate in half and eating that one half, filling that up with your non-starchy vegetables, your green vegetables, your leafy vegetables, that sort of thing. And then that other half of your plate, divide it in half, so you have 2/4. And in one quarter of your plate, you're going to put your lean protein, and then the other quarter of your plate, you're going to put your starchy carbohydrates. Okay. HSN principle number 2 is focusing on balance. That's exactly what the plate method does. If you are logging your food in something, say like MyFitnessPal, you want to set it up to 40% carbohydrates, 30% protein, and 30% fat. And another note on this, every time you eat, you want to have a protein, carb, and fat. So even your snacks, your breakfast, you want to make sure that you're hitting all 3 of those macros. And then lastly, we want to limit the amount of added sugar that we consume daily. On average, Americans consume 150 pounds of sugar per year, which if you divide that out and do the math, that's 46 teaspoons per day, which is well over that 6 teaspoons for women and 9 for men, or 25 grams for women, 35 for men. So it's not surprising, because sugar is super addicting. And it feels like when you start reading labels that sugar is hidden in almost every food package you find. And in this challenge that we have coming up, we're going to talk about all the different names that sugar hides in our packages, because it's not just sugar. So I went with some frequently asked questions kind of around this topic. How do you know if a product that you're looking at is healthy or not? Nutritional values will depend and vary from brand to brand, as well as your own personal nutritional needs will determine if a product is specifically healthy for you. So, the biggest thing to keep in mind is that although a brand has more money to advertise their product more, does not mean that it is actually healthy for us. So let's look at this next slide of a nutrition label and talk about the important things to look at under the nutrition facts. So first thing to look at is serving size. That is right up there directly underneath nutrition facts. It's going to tell you how many servings are in that container and then what the serving size is. Um, a lot of things when you look at, you think it's like single serve. You pick it up at the gas station and there's actually like 4 servings in it. So that's key to look at. The second thing that you want to look at is the total number of calories. Calories really are just providing a measure of how much energy you're going to get from a serving of food. The number of calories that you consume depends on the number of servings that you eat. So, in other words, like this, whatever this is, I can't even see how tiny that is, but um, let's say it has 2 servings per container and you eat the whole thing in one sitting, instead of getting 110 calories, you just ate 220 calories. The third thing you want to look at is the nutrients. Saturated fat, sodium, and added sugars are nutrients that we want to avoid. Dietary fiber, vitamin D, calcium, iron, potassium are all nutrients that we want to consume more of. So we want more of those in it. Sugars on the nutrition facts label include both um, sugars that are present naturally, like coming from fruit or something like that, as well as any added sugars. So when you're looking under nutrients, it'll say like total carbohydrates, and then you've got your fiber there, and then total sugars, and I think it says 25 grams. And then underneath that, this is the really big thing to pay attention to because this is the sugar that they're adding to it, not coming naturally from fruit or something like that. So this product contains 25 grams of total sugars and it includes 23 grams of added sugar. So that just means that literally all the sugar in that is coming from added sugar. And then step 4 is to look at the percent daily value to know how much of each nutrient you're getting and how that counts towards what your total goal is for the day. Some things as you start looking at ingredients that you want to be aware of is seed oils. And there's a hateful 8 out there. Canola oil, sometimes called rapeseed oil, corn oil, cottonseed oil, soybean oil, sunflower oil, safflower oil, grapeseed oil, and rice bran oil. The reason that we want to avoid these is because they cause inflammation and contribute to chronic disease. So we just want to be mindful of them and try to start choosing products that don't have those in them. And another note on oils that we're going to talk about in the challenge is a lot of us use olive oil to cook with. And we should probably start switching to coconut oil or avocado oil to cook with because it has a higher, what do they call it? Like flash point or whatever. When you heat up olive oil, some bad things come out in it. So we don't want that. What are you going to do if you don't like vegetables? I hear it all the time. I have clients that are like, well, I'm not eating my vegetables. But maybe you just haven't found the way that you like them. I encourage you to roast your veggies. And now we're going to say not to put olive oil on them. We're going to use coconut oil or avocado oil and roast because when you roast your vegetables, they get a little crispy or they turn a little brown rather than mushy, like boiled vegetables. You can add seasonings for flavor. Just look at your seasonings, make sure they don't have sugar in them. And you can even put vegetables into smoothies. Get your fiber in your smoothies, like spinach or kale is good to add to that. Rice cauliflower too. Rice cauliflower counts as a green vegetable, or any cauliflower counts as a green vegetable. It's like the albino green vegetable. And if you don't know where to start, I always say just start with one thing. Try to figure out what would be the easiest thing and start there and build on one thing at a time. Maybe something we talked about today stuck out to you. So start there. Some success stories from HSN, some of our famous people who have had great success lately. Morgan is adorable. Um, Lashundra has done a great job. She just recently got married. Whoop, whoop. And Ashlyn has really been killing it over the last, I kept saying a year, but really now it's been more like a year and a half. If you're looking for more nutrition information, I think it's great to listen to things on podcasts that are like-minded with you. And so Nutrition Made Simple is a podcast put out by Healthy Steps Nutrition. A lot of inspiring stories are shared on her podcast. So let's do this. Let's kick the industry and marketing because it starts with us, what we buy. They use a lot of different techniques that add value to the product to try to persuade us to buy them. Companies invest in research development and marketing long before the product is ever even developed. The reasoning behind this is because we are willing to pay more for a product that has generated more demand. If we think it's popular, then we want to try it. Now we know how confusing it can be to navigate. So luckily, you're not alone. We're always here to help and answer questions. But really, the takeaway that I hope y'all have from this today is that you start looking at your nutrition labels in more than just the nutrition labels. Look at the ingredients and really start paying attention to that. There's still a little bit of time to sign up for our challenge. If you haven't already, there's a QR code there that you can scan. Gosh, it's been 45 minutes. The gist of this challenge is we have a long self-assessment that actually, if you get in here with me, we'll go over it together. And you get a rating on all of the habits and all of the things that we are doing or not doing, because there's this hierarchy of competency that we're kind of going off of, where level 1 on that competency scale is that you don't even know the things that are harming you. And you don't necessarily care because you don't know. And so then this challenge, we're going, and in that assessment, we're going to have a lot of education and we're going to learn a lot of things in our environment, in our food, in our homes that could be contributing to things like inflammation, chronic disease, those types of things. So I'm going to move you from level 1 of not knowing to level 2 of knowing. But level 2, even though you know, you may not be in a place where you are ready to take action on those toxins. And that's fine. You'll stay to level 2. Level 3 is that we are going to enact we are going to enact a couple of habits. In the second week of the challenge, we're going to cut out refined sugar and refined grains and those Hateful Eight seed oils. And then based on that assessment that we did pre-challenge, you're going to choose 3 more habits to add. And those habits can range from anything like sleep, your environment, your light exposure, your stress, your personal care products, the products you clean your house with, the products that you wash your clothes with. All of those kind of things can be included. Exercise can be included. But that's kind of the gist of the challenge. And then, afterwards, and this is not, we say all of our challenges are not a quick fix, but this is certainly not, because this is like lifestyle overhaul when we look at all the things that could be poisoning us. And just kind of generally, can we do better than we did yesterday? And so I've been on a journey probably since October with changing out things in our house. As we ran out of toothpaste, I was on a hunt to find something that, was safer and that I liked. So in the challenge, I'm going to share a lot of things that I have already found, so that it may help some people make better choices when they run out of toothpaste or shampoo or whatever it might be. The whole first week of the challenge, you don't have to give up anything. So if that is scaring you, like, oh, I can't give it up for 4 weeks, but you could do it for 3. But that first week, we're really only going to log our food, everything that we eat. And then on Friday, I will look into it with you and help you figure out, what are some things that we need to take out and swap, where we might be getting some of those hidden ingredients. So anyways, that was a quick spiel on that, and it has now been almost 50 minutes, so I'm going to let you go. If you're watching this back later, thank you for watching, and Rhonda, thanks for joining me this afternoon, and I will see y'all next month, where I didn't look at what the topic is, but it'll come out soon. Y'all have a great day.